Hey, what's going on, guys? Garden Shed here, and welcome! So, today I'm out on a 2019 Royal Enfield Himalayan, and this is a bike that I've wanted to ride since I first saw one. I think they look awesome, nice and retro, capable of going anywhere, and from off-road reviews that I've seen, they are capable of pretty much going anywhere. One declaration I want to get out of the way first. There is an awful lot on the internet about these having cracked headstocks and the front forks coming off. Can I let people be aware it was a problem with the very first Indian bikes. They fixed the problem before it came to the UK and Europe and America and now Australia. That problem is gone. It is not affected by them. And any bike has teething problems. There are lots of pictures on the GS of the rear GS with broken swing arms, so you know, bear with. Right, so it has an 800mm seat height, 410cc I believe, putting out about 24.5 horsepower. That's about all I know. We've got single brake on the front, single brake on the back, and this bike does have a few little optional extras. It's got a Lextech in can, some crash bars, and some handguards. I think that's about it. And I don't think this is standard, this little spacer for the front mudguard. I think that's an optional part. And it hasn't got the standard tyres on, it's got knobblies on. So this is the first time I've ridden a bike with knobblies. And I'm rather looking forward to it. But while we're stood here, I'll give you a quick clip of the exhaust through a terrible camera phone microphone. Hear it popping and chirping away, it sounds rather grand. But yeah, I've literally ridden this about 5 miles down the road before starting the camera up. And my very first impression is, I am 5'6" and 7.5 stone, which is about 56 kilos I think. This is a very small bike, as in seat height wise. There are not many bikes that I can flat foot, but I can flat foot this. I love that little exhaust. I think they're about £110 the slip-on for these. So it's not a standard part. So with 24 horsepower, it's not going to set your world alight. You can hear that little exhaust chirping away. First things first, the seat is incredibly spongy. I really like it. It does tip you forwards a little bit into the tank, but it is incredibly nice. The suspension soaks up the bumps really well. The instrument cluster is incredibly simple. We have rev gauge, fuel gauge, compass, don't know what that's for, speedo, and then inside that we have clock, outside air temperature, which is saying 20 degrees, which I'm guessing it isn't, trip computer, odometer, and a gear indicator. There's very little vibration in the mirrors, I really like that. But it just feels, compared to my V-Strom 650, does feel an incredibly small little bike. Now we're riding on greasy roads, and it's the first time I've ridden on knobblies, so don't expect anything mega. Now I have noticed with this bike, third gear, so we're in a 40, accelerate, accelerate. Once it gets to about 4,500, it picks up a little bit, but it has a nice low down torque to it. The bars are nice and wide, I'm incredibly upright. Down into fourth, full throttle, we're powering up this. It is quite a steep hill, and it will sit at 60 miles an hour like it is doing now. So I was reading the bit of a sales blurb beforehand. These bikes from Sycamore BMW are £4,199 on the road, brand new. So obviously it's built to a budget. So you do have to bear it in mind when you're riding this bike. For your £4,000 you get a lot of bike, and I think this would make a fantastic... It turns in really nicely, it's very, very nimble. The front knobbly is a little bit disconcerting. I don't know why they've put slightly more aggressive tyres on their demo bike. Oh, this road's been resurfaced. Right, let's turn around. I don't really know the area too well. I've never actually done much off-roading. Handled that rather nicely. Nice wet verge. Let's just be clear, I would never ever do that on my bike. I'll do a U-turn in the road because it's so tall. This, I know I can get my feet down and it doesn't feel heavy at all. It feels really light. So this road is bumpy as anything, I know from previous experience. And the suspension is doing a bloody good job. What's it like standing up on the pegs? Pegs feel nice and wide. This is a bike you could do some damage on. I haven't got waterproof gloves on. I mean, it's not a fast machine, it really isn't. Sorry, the last time I rode a Royal Enfield was the Continental, and we all know how that went. It broke down on me. It was horrible and vibey, and it just wasn't very nice to ride at all. This is completely different. I mean, yeah, it's raw. You're aware you're riding a single cylinder, especially under an acceleration, but it handles really nicely. The suspension's really nice. And I feel like I could just ride on roads like this all day. Might have to at this rate. I don't know where I'm going. I am riding slightly conservatively. As I say, it's the first time I've ever ridden on knobblies. I am acutely aware that they're probably not as grippy as my tyres on my V-Strom. Barely having to use the brakes. It's got nice engine braking to it. A little bit of vibration that I'm getting through the bars. Sorry, through the pegs. Only under an acceleration though. When I'm bimbling along, it's not too bad at all. Comfortably cruising at 60 miles an hour. I mean, I don't think you want to ride this thing on motorways for long. This road normally feels really, really bumpy. I think this would be a fantastic bike if you were doing sort of green laning, stuff like that. You know, it's £4,000 on the road new. It's really, really comfortable, really, really practical. And by all accounts, much more reliable than Royal Enfields of past. You know, sure, it does have its little quirks. The mirrors, a little bit of vibration, not much, and they're not brilliant. The screen, you're getting a lovely clear airflow off. It's like being on a sports bike, but there is a lot of air. Okay, that was a really big bump. And it wasn't painful, it was just a bit bouncy. I get the feeling that this sort of bike, it brings back that aspect. Like, I get on my V-Strom and I know I will get where I'm going. This, because it's a little bike, it just feels like everything's going to be an adventure. Like, I haven't had this much fun on a bike in ages, and that includes my V-Strom. And not because I'm going bull to, you know, not because I'm going really fast or anything like that. It's just fun to ride. Now this is the bit I'm not looking forward to. Up ahead we're going to have a nice bit of dual carriageway. It'll be interesting to see what this bike's like on the dual carriageway. Again, I can't get over the lack of turbulence. Like, some people say it's turbulent. It's not at all. It's really smooth air. Now, I'm not sure if it's the tyres, as I say, I've never ridden with knobblies. It doesn't seem the most stable in the corners, and there's no way I would lean this over the same way I would do my V-Strom, but again, like I say, I think it's the tyres. Really easy to keep upright slow speed wise. I mean, don't get me wrong, for me, I don't think I bought one of these as my only bike. I think the lack of power eventually, if you're trying to do big miles to get somewhere, would be a bit of a letdown, but I could do those big miles, just wouldn't be doing them very fast. I absolutely adore this bike. Yes, you know, the feel of it feels a little bit cheap. The throttle's quite snatchy, or rather there's a lot of play in it before it actually does anything. Right, let's see what the 0 to, well, the 30 to 70 is on this. That's 30, 40, 50, 60. Go on, little Enfield, go on. 70. I don't think you'd want to sit at 70 much on this. Gets a little bit twitchy, but it's doing it. I think it was more the road surface and under acceleration, but it's doing 70 miles an hour and it doesn't seem too busy. You wouldn't want to do 70 for hundreds of miles. You do notice the foot pegs, and it is a touch unstable. Yeah, it's starting to buck its head a bit at 75. Do you know what? I think it possibly could get 80 out of it. I don't want to try it. Yeah, you're definitely not going to set any land speed records. Oh my god. I need one of these in my life. It's not often I come away from riding a bike and thinking that. Sit on a 70-mile-an-hour road and it's fine. It'll do it. Whether it'll do 70 up a hill with full luggage, I doubt. I'm on the dual carriageway, sat at the speed limit, and overtaking. That's all you really need, isn't it? Do you know what? As a daily commuter, if you can do the servicing yourself, which apparently is really easy, this would be a brilliant commuter bike. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and take care.